Was lurking too.
Oh, that makes you nervous, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well done. So in the back half, Hodge makes the first contact with the footy, and then Bruce kicks a beauty to that guy. Free kick, haven't they?
Yes.
And not got the handball off.
And they haven't had any overlap today, have they, Melbourne? Their handball receives, they're half of what Hawthorn's been able to produce.
Hawthorn, the scoreboard suggests that, but they've actually missed 3 really gettables, I reckon.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Kick comes out. Juggled mark is taken there by Hale. He's been good in that situation. He's a good juggler. He goes in short, and Lewis has got it. We mentioned that Watts outmarked him in the square, but then, of course, Rioli realised on the lead that it'd be a mismatch. So what did he do? He led. Here's Mitchell, speaking of leading. We'll get a free kick.
In that zone then, there's McKenzie just trying to drag the arm down of Sam Mitchell. When clearly a free kick.
Really contorting there.
This game nicely poised at the moment. Melbourne not quite close enough to have a lot of tension, but potentially. Whitecross back to Birchall. And then Birchall off that step. Bailey doing okay, Bailey. The little give, he'll get it back, Bailey, and then off one step, kicks to Osborne. Lovely kick by the big guy. Osborne wide. He had Buddy lurking. Now does he go to Rioli? I think he does. Where's Cyril? Now it's Bruce. Good mark. The small lead-up forward target's been in great demand this weekend, hasn't it? From Stephen Milne all the way through Eddie Betts. We've seen some terrific performances by the guys. Schneider kicked 5 as well. Little guys who can hold the ball above their head. Bruce did it then, and that is a terrific goal. Well, with a name like that, you've got to be clever.
Here's that collision between Lewis and Taps. Legitimate bump inside. I don't think there's anything going to come out of that.
Sylvia had a little airy then, but Maloney and Jones run into one another. Feel like...
Got him high, free kick, Hawthorn. Sam Mitchell.
But you do feel like, for the first time in the match, Melbourne's really in the game at the moment. Maybe too far back on the board, but... Oh, Rioli, he did it to me last time. He's going to do it again. Buddy, no, it's their turn. Hodge, Rioli, Franklin Hodge. Oh, write that in a sentence and just look at it.
Hitting a pack at top pace, isn't it? Here's a kick from Sammy Mitchell. Bang, you get the contact. Good play there from Frawley, good body play. Bang, at top speed. I mean, there's part of it. The actual part that was, I think, the best part about all that was at the house.
Stark contrast to Melbourne's on-ballers. Oh, that's in the back, surely. Free kick to Mitchell. And some terrific work in the lead-up as well by Shields. Doing what he did. May have just given them that lift that Bruce was talking about, but now it seems to have gone again. It was momentary. Lewis trying to hurt them in the best possible way. That's a lovely kick.
So Pettit wants to move it forward. He wants a mark in the goal square. Free kick somewhere.
Free kick back here. Michael Osborne. It's a Hawthorn free kick. Michael Osborne kick on the wing. It's a Hawthorn free kick. 50 metres. It's 50 metres. 50 metres, Michael. Michael Osborne's kick. It's a Hawthorn free kick. You threw the ball at me. Over there. 50 metres. Yep. 50 metres. Stephen Martin threw the ball away. Didn't give it to the opposition. But you can't throw him to the ground.
So Osborne, after all of that, will have a shot for goal from about 35 metres out straight in front. And kicks his second.
Bottom left-hand screen. Well, there's the confusion.
He'll come back to Watts. Now Watts to set up Sylvia. Put him in a hot spot, but Sylvia broke it. And the kick's awful. Knew what he wanted to do. And here's a goal. Well, Buddy. Well played to Bruce. Give it back to Buddy. No, Bruce will kick his third.
Here's Colin Sylvia on one side. Kicks the ball. There's the reaction from the coach.
Almost as if Xavier Ellis was wearing that camouflage uniform. Interesting design in its own right. Who would have thought that up, Tim?
No, that was unfair.
We'll get our blokes to wear camouflage and then try and kick it to them. There's Birchall. Back it comes to Sewell. Of course, he wasn't wearing that uniform. Here's Hodge. Slips a hand pass away. Sewell goes back. Guerra looks across. Gibson's got the footy. Goes out towards those alpha pigeons who refuse to move. On the other side wing, the mark is taken by Birchall. Got it from Guerra. Under 2 minutes to three-quarter time, and I venture to say Hawthorn well aware of that. Guerra just fattening up his possessions, shows a lot of it to Jones. Fuopolo applies a strong tackle and wins the footy back. The Hawks can do no wrong. Beautiful pass, and Franklin. There's a moral in that story somewhere, Tim. If you just fool around with the footy, waiting for a break like quarter time or three-quarter time, and then you do the unexpected and charge forward, you might get a goal. Oh, you do get a goal. 3 to Franklin. Then out of the mess, conspire to kick a goal. See? See?
There you go. He's an energetic player, though, isn't he, Puopolo?
He's a bustler.
And Buddy's starting his lead deep in the forward line. Frawley just looking back over his shoulder, wondering where all the assistance was coming from.
It's been a frustrating day for Melbourne. They've teased a few times, but they've coughed up too much ball. Shields gets it back from Birchall. Cheney. Oh, good pick up, wasn't it, on the half. Back to Birchall. Love with the ball in his hands. Well, said Buddy might kick 4 or 5. Well, he's kicked 3.
Little fella. Lewis dragged down, backhands it out of there. Comes from Shields, and Smith just on the ground. The sub kicks the goal.
Isn't come on and have an immediate impact. Happened in the game I watched last night too, when Cracker came on for the Gold Coast. Only been on for a minute and he scored a goal. And once again, Shields, he's such a smart player. He's up to
situation last year where he was playing reserves country footy basically, and then through the VFL, and 22 years of age getting his chance. So Bate had a good patch in the second quarter. Mitchell again. Burgoyne had it taken off him, and Melbourne not sure. Then Sylvian Tringove, and in the end Bruce gets the ball out to Saul. Tim talked about the fact he's had more of the ball than anybody else in the match. Getting it forward, Franklin getting it back. He's in a good spot now. I don't know if he had to do that, Buddy. He's still in a good spot for Buddy. There's no bad spot for Buddy, but he hit the post.
That would have worked hard to get into space to provide an option.
Really, it's been more of a mismatch than is shown on the scoreboard as Smith goes to Mitchell, back to Smith.
Smith's taking plenty of the ball early in this last quarter, coming off the subs bench. Ellis's hands were terrific to Lewis. Shields has had a good match and just missing. Tim, just thinking about, so Martin with 3 running bounces and a 4th. He's stretching Bailey now. That got personal too, and Bailey got him sort of in the end now. Here's a turnover, Cheney to Shields, and the Hawthorn faithful love that now. Hodge picked it up beautifully. He tries a bounce, looking for Buddy, I think, and then going longer to Hale. Hale controlling it. Cyril. Oh, he's Cyril. That's what he is. I've got something for you in a minute, by the way.
That was a brilliant chase then from Bailey, and the players are all going up to him, congratulating him. And this is just an outstanding trace here from Bailey. I mean, that's a fair dinkum, full-blooded chase here on Martin. Turns the ball over, and then just watch the little fella again.
Shields almost getting the football as it came out. Kick from Strauss towards the wing. Bate outmanoeuvred, knocked away by Cheney, former teammate. Burgoyne hasn't seen a lot of the footy. Goes back to Murphy, whips it across towards Fuopolo. Gibson lets it bounce, then fends off would-be boarders if you don't mind too easy. Murphy goes short. Smith, Ellis, Osborne beats the man he had to beat, lines up and misses. Now Rivers with a chance, runs inside the centre square, kicks it long. Dropping back is Dunn, and Dunn almost the one-hander. Cheney, though, picks it up. And a lot of numbers tell the story. Birchall, Rioli. Now, look at Whitecross. metres in the clear. White cross just inside the boundary line. Franklin gets that little tweak on the end of it. Comes back right to left. Don't know how he does it. I'm amazed Don hasn't gone across to that.
Yeah, fight to the last breath between those two.
Yeah.
They're on the same team, Tim.
Well, that's the point I was going to raise with Tim. It's probably not good for the team morale, but nevertheless, we'd be excited. Here's Watts. Goes in short. Too much carry, though. Rioli spins out of trouble. Nicely done. Wonderfully done. Beautiful finish.
Look up.
Franklin takes the mark. Square, but Buddy overlooked him like an amber light. He knew he was there, but was not interested.
Another turnover, though, too, at a critical part of the ground.
So Buddy Franklin lining up at his 50th. A goal umpire's view. Straight through the middle. Yes, sirree. Over the umpire's hat.
Is that turnover again? You know, the thing about Rioli, Dennis, is that you actually, when he gets control of the ball, you actually want him to do more every time he has the ball than what he does sometimes.
Yeah. 14, I just can't. Stevie Milne had 14 Friday night and kicked 8. Eddie Betts had 14 on Saturday night and kicked 8.
This is a Rioli 4-2.
Here he goes.
Here he goes. Make it 16 now as he paddles it to himself. Goes along the boundary line and hits Franklin.
He doesn't need many, does he?
Becomes an easy mark for him. I think he prefers it to the chest.
The point I was trying to make about Cyril is that when he's playing like this, you feel you're a chance against anybody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's almost impossible to stop, isn't he? I just wondered how much of the game he might play too, given he'd been out for a while.
So Franklin going at 5. I think his best effort is 6 against Melbourne. And that's a beautiful kick. Again, he gets the tweak.
Absolutely to the right spot. Here's the kick again. I mean, see, this is another turnover at a critical part of the game, at the ground, and I reckon that's been the story all afternoon from Melbourne, kicking the ball out from their defensive part of the ground. They could be thinking about resting Cyril though now, wouldn't you? Like with 4 minutes to go, coming off a hamstring injury.
Well, see what happens in the last few minutes. Tim Burgoyne again uses the ball well. So Rioli comes from the ground now. So perhaps that's that for the day. If you're an umpire, you probably don't give him a vote for the Brownlow, but you feel like he's had as much impact on this match as anybody.
You would.
Yeah, no, I did that before the game started.
He's got 3 for next week too.
He had the 1 starting today. He's now got the 3.
He got 3 when he had the hammy.
No consultation with your other 2 umpires.
I reckon Birchall could kick this.
All right, Bruce.
He didn't.
No, never mind.
Yeah.
Just looking at the individual tallies for tackles today for Melbourne, a couple of their players probably need to carry a sign, will tackle for food. Lewis has got the football inside the 50. That's in the future. Boundary throw in. Falls behind the pack. Martin, Trengo, wanted forward. Sylvia, Jones. There's the siren. Hawthorn pick up their 12th victory. 2012 Hawthorn, Melbourne 12-6 on Sunday football. Let's go down to Matthew Richardson.
Yeah, Sawley, that was just a good 4-quarter team effort today. Just built all day.
Yeah, it was. We almost as though we couldn't quite shake them there for the first half, and then sort of opened up a little bit during the third quarter there.
Yeah, now over to Perth next week. You must feel like you're really building now for that top 4 double chance.
Yeah, look, a little bit. We're starting to really tweak our game plan and start moving the ball the way we want to, and sort of just changing little bits and pieces as we go now.
It must be right watching Max Bailey out there, mate. He's just building, and I reckon it was his best game today, just about.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain the work that he's put in the last 3 or 4 years, and hopefully we're only just starting to see a touch of what he can do, because he's a great fellow around the club. He's really starting to bring some tremendous value on the ground as well.
Cyril just popped in nicely. 3. What about the little lace out to Buddy there at the end?
I was just sitting on the bench when it happened. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? The way he moved and some of the things he can do. So thank God he's on our side.
Yeah, very good to watch. Well done, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, Richo.
Yeah, played well. So they've got the mentality to play September footy, the Hawks.
Yeah, they know what it's all about.
They do.
They don't get ahead of themselves. They know that they still need to improve over the coming weeks.
They've won 9 out of their last 11 as they drive towards September. Pretty easy in the end. As a 9-goal game. 132 to 78 at the MCG on Sunday afternoon.